Gayatri, you want to do the sound check?
Hello, Hari Om.
Yeah. Hari Om, Hari Om. Yeah,
Audible?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hari Om everyone. I, Swati Vakil, on behalf of Chinmaya, welcome you all for the 10th day of the Geeta Relay Yagna. We now like to have your attention on a short clip that will be shared, which tells us all about Chinmaya Mission's latest endeavor, maximum happiness, which is a part of the Joy of Giving Week, the Dan Utsav, which began on 2nd of October. Funds collected through this project will go towards all the various seva activities of Chinmaya Mission, namely medical, social and educational, mental, cultural, and spiritual. So please take a look. Can we share the video, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
A very nice Subhashita says, Danena panir natu kankanena, snanena shuddhir natu chandanena. The glory of the hands is not just in wearing ornaments, but it is in doing charity and making a difference. Purity is when one takes a bath, not just by merely applying chandan or spraying deodorants. When we take bath, we become physically pure. Manena triptihi natu bhojanena jnanena muktihi natu mundanena. When we respect people, then they feel happy. Not just if we provide food to them out of some disrespect or considering them low. With respect, we have to do that. And we need to respect them for who they are. And mukti is attained not by merely tonsuring the head, but only by gaining the knowledge of the self. Through this Dan Utsav, please do support our causes where we would like to provide food to people, provide empowerment to them mentally, conduct medical camps, provide educational scholarships, empower children through Gita chanting, empower the youth through drug awareness programs, mental health programs, and spiritually and culturally make people rooted in our culture. Through various initiatives like camps, workshops, as well as through Chinmaya Pradeep, which is a very unique outdoor Vedantic vision park in Powai, Mumbai. So let not the ornaments alone beautify our hands. Let us beautify our hands by being generous and by making a difference. Support our campaign, Maximize Happiness. Visit the link given in the description below and do offer what best you can for the service of the society. Maximum happiness to maximum people for the maximum time is our motto of Chinmaya Mission. Please join us in maximizing happiness.
Thank you, Vineet. Thank you, Vineet. We also like to make one more announcement. If anyone wishes to be Puja Yajman, Aarti Yajman, Prasad Yajman, or Satsang Yajman for Swamiji's Navratri talks, can do so by using the link displayed on the Zoom chat as well as on Telegram chat. Thank you. Yesterday, Sevika Sujataji revealed to all of us the royal secret and made us aware of the royal knowledge through chapter 9, Raj Vidya, Raj Guja Yoga. Today, we will move ahead with the talk on chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita. Hereby, I invite Sevika Anjali Dalal to begin the day with the invocation prayer.
Thank you, Swati. Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvamanusandathami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum.
Thank you, Anjali ji. Now, I would request you all to put on your videos for a Zoom feed.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Vineet. Thank you, everyone. Now, please put off your videos and mute your audio for better clarity. Now, I would like to introduce you to our speaker for the day, Srimati Anjali Dalal. Anjali ji has been serving Chinmaya Mission from past 9 years. She is at present the Vice President of Chinmaya Mission Mumbai. She also conducts 2 study classes a week. Today, Anjali ji will take us forward through the chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, the Yoga of Divine Glory. Over to you, Anjali ji.
Thank you, Swati. Hari Om. Chapter 10. We've come a long way. The mutual give and take by a teacher and a student is what makes the teaching and the learning process more enjoyable for both. In this chapter, Arjuna wants to hear more and Sri Krishna wants to tell him more. This is the ideal teacher-student relationship. Keeping this in mind, today we'll see what the Lord has to say in chapter 10, which is also known as Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means glory. And we'll see Sri Krishna expand on the theme of the glories of creation. As mentioned in a previous talk, yoga means to unite. But in the context of this chapter, it means to show the Lord's infinite power, his potential to create, and how he, while being so glorious, pervades the entire universe. We'll also see how we, while moving about and transacting in the world outside, can see his presence in and around everything. What is the result of that? We then move from seeing the one form of the Lord to seeing the Lord in various forms, in every aspect of creation. And how we can meditate on these special and wondrous manifestations. By itself, it seems as though Sri Krishna is glorifying his creation and himself. But we need to understand this chapter with respect to its connection with the previous chapter. Yesterday, we saw Sujata ji explaining to us in the 9th chapter that Bhagwan told Arjuna that I pervade this world in my unmanifest form. Outwardly, you see the physical form of this world, but behind it, I am there. I am present in everything. I myself have become everything. The whole world is my Vibhuti, and learn to recognize me in this world. So we have to learn to recognize Bhagwan in and through the world we see and experience. We have to understand Bhagwan's Vibhuti and his yoga, his power. That's why this chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. Arjuna now, at about this point, realizes that the blue-eyed boy of Vrindavan, his constant companion, his friend, and now guru, is actually the Lord of the universe, Loka Maheshwaram, the Lord of all the worlds, of all experiences, of everything, the Vyashti and the Samashti, the individual and the total. He is the material, efficient, and intelligent cause of the universe. So now, his tone and his attitude of asking questions changes to one of deep reverence. In verse 15, he says, Swayam evatmanatmanam vethatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. He addresses Sri Krishna as Purushottam, the Supreme Being, Bhuta Bhavana, the source of all, Bhutesha, the creator of all, and Jagatpati, the master or the ruler of the world. This is the kind of reverence he has now developed. So he goes on to ask Sri Krishna for 3 things. In verse 16, he asks for the details of the Lord's divine glories through which he exists and pervades the universe. In verse 17, he asks, how can I come to know that Lord? How can I come to know you? In verse 18, he asks, tell me about your yoga. Tell me about your power. He wants to know how is all this possible. When we are speaking to somebody or with somebody, you'll notice that we tend to speak more when we find the listener is more receptive, is more ready to accept what we say, isn't it? So Bhagwan tells Arjuna that I will tell you this because you listen to me with faith and joy. And you know that what I say is for your welfare. You are dear to me, therefore I will tell you about my nature again. Let us understand a little bit more about Vibhuti and yoga. Is it possible to see electricity? No. But we do see the glories of electricity in the bulb, in the fan, AC, fridge, in any equipment that we might use. Without electricity, all those equipments are useless. Take another example. Gold exists as the common factor in all gold ornaments. But there are a variety of ornaments, necklaces, bangles, earrings, you name it. So now, the essence of gold is the yoga, and the different gold ornaments is the vibhuti. The essence of electricity is yoga, and the different expressions of it is its vibhuti. So, to see the many in one is yoga, and to see the one in many is vibhuti. I'll repeat this one line. To see the many in one is yoga, and to see the one in many is vibhuti. Similarly, this vast, infinite world is an expression of Ishvara. Ishvara is one, but the variety that we see around us is many. The divine vision to see God in the entire creation and to see the entire creation in God, to be able to see the gold in all ornaments and to see and realize that all ornaments are gold only. This is the divine vision. In verse 7, the Lord says, Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvataha so vikampena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. He says that the one who can meditate on these vibhutis and realize the truth is said to have attained avikampa yoga, unshakable abidance in the Lord. This abidance will not come and go. It is ever present. I said this, and I expect this thought to be with you as well. It's very, very easy to say, see the glories of Ishvara in the entire world. How do you do it? Our intellect, which is so limited and narrow, may not understand this vast expression. It's okay. It's normal. Because that which is ordinary, the mind will not accept as divine. It needs something grand, unique, something spectacular for it to accept it as divine. So before we get into the vibhutis of the Lord, I'd like to show you a short video of Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya explaining this concept.
Such an individual, avikambena, without any hesitation, tremor, with no quake, no hesitation, no trembling, no sense of fear, no obstacles en route. Yogena, yunjare natra samshaya, you have come to experience. First you have to realize and understand that the macrocosm, the world of plurality that you are seeing, as well as the individuality that is functioning, both of them are the play of the one infinite consciousness. The difference is only because of the equipment. Whether it is a tiny wee bit of a bulb, just to have a vague light, a small little bulb, as well as the huge bulbs that are in front of me, persecuting me every moment so that my eyes are to be closed, blinding light, both of them are expressions of one and the same energy, electricity. Then why there is a wee bit and here such a big one? It is the difference in the bulbs. There the bulb is of low voltage, here the filament is very fine and therefore more light is emitted by it. The difference is in the size of the bulb and the texture of the filament, and not this is a bigger electricity and there it is a smaller electricity. No, electricity remaining the same. The quality of the bulb determines the intensity of light that will come out of it. In the same way, Narayana, the total infinite consciousness, functioning through the total mind, is Ishvara, the Lord of the universe, while that very same consciousness functioning in your bosom, he seems to be very little vitality and strength, only because he is only expressing through your particular given individual mind.
Right. Pujya Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji, likens this chapter to a tour. He says that Sri Krishna is the divine tour guide showing us his creation. He says that if we see the special sights, wonderful qualities, beauties of what we see as belonging to a particular object or being, then it would be Jagat Darshan, a world tour. But if we see the special qualities as belonging to God, as his glory, then it would become a divine tour of creation, Vibhuti Darshan. And this Vibhuti Darshan will fill our hearts with tremendous joy and devotion. Suppose we want to know the taste of the ocean. What is the way to know it? Do we need to drink the entire ocean to know what it tastes like? No, absolutely not. One drop from the ocean will give us the taste of the entire ocean. So Sri Krishna says, taste my presence. I will show you the Vibhutis, and through that you see my presence. When we buy things, I go to a shop to buy something, and the salesman shows us a sample. The samples will be the best so that he is assured that the sale will go through. To show that the unmanifest is the essence of all things, Sri Krishna points to the best and the most eminent among created things as representing him as samples. And you know, it is because of Arjuna that we get to indirectly join him, the blessed tourist, on this divine tour of creation with the Lord Sri Krishna as our tour guide. The Lord is taking us on a Vibhuti Darshan. If we view this with that vision, it won't be difficult for us to see the Lord in everything. So let's start this divine tour and see Arjuna's first request for the details of the Lord's glories. Now, half of this chapter covers the Lord's glories in each category of his creation. About 80 glories are listed from verses 20 to 39. Obviously, due to limitation of time, we'll be seeing only a few of them today. So let's move on to our first destination of the Lord's glories from nature. Among the radiances, he is the sun and the moon. Why the sun? Because the sun is the source of all energy and life on the planet. It is his Vibhuti because the Supreme Lord says that that very source of energy and life in the sun is from me. The moon regulates the tides, and together, both of them, the sun and the moon, they give us time, years, months, days, nights, etc. The sun is the presiding deity of our vision and the moon of the mind. Meditating on the sun makes our intellect bright and brilliant, and meditating on the moon gives us control over our moods and emotions. Amongst the trees, he is Ashwatha. Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam. The peepal tree is also known as Ashwatha and is considered to be all-pervading and immortal as it lives on. Hindus worship it as they believe there is some divinity attached to it. It also represents the pluralistic, temporary world that we live in, the world of samsara, which goes on and on for a long time, appears to be permanent, but isn't so. The entire cosmos is like a vast tree. It is held by the roots together. It is nourished by the roots. Leaves, branches, trunk, roots, everything is connected to each other. Each and every part of the tree looks different, but they're all connected. There is something common in every part of the tree. Similarly, that Ishvara is what is common to everything in the universe. Among the immovables, he is the Himalayas. Sthavaranam Himalaya. Now, to say among the immovables he is the Himalayas is to show that he is the very essence of unmovableness. He represents all immovable objects of the world. He is present in all inert objects also. And of course, this mountain range is nature at its best. It is the abode of great sages, Sant, Mahatmas through the ages. It is the abode of Lord Shiva, Mount Kailash, the holy lake of Mansarovar, holy places of Padrinath, Kedarnath are all located here. It is the source of a number of our holy rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra. Of all the mountains, he is Meru. Meru Shikharinamaham. Mount Meru is believed to be the center of universe according to the ancient Hindu geography. Of all the purifiers, the Lord is the wind, the air. In today's situation, we would probably add sanitizers to it as well. So how does the wind clean? Movement is the cause of purification. By its movement, it takes away the unclean air. A room which is closed for a long time, we have realized, has a very musty smell. But once we open the windows and doors, in a while the smell is gone. The air coming in takes away the musty smell and then makes the room fresh. Air also keeps our body clean. We breathe in clean, fresh air and release carbon dioxide. This breathing keeps our body healthy. Every time we breathe in and out, we are in contact with Bhagwan's Vibhuti. Now we move on to another destination, where we will see a few glories from the Vedas and the Puranas. He says, among the Devas, he is the king of the heavens, Indra. Deva namasmi Vasavaha. Vasava is another name for Indra. He is the Vajra. Ayudhanamaham Vajram. The most powerful weapon. We must also keep in mind that weapons must be used for defending the good and not indiscriminate use, and also should be used by one who's qualified to use it. It's like putting nuclear weapons in the hand of someone who's not qualified. Amongst the Vedas, he is the Samaveda. Vedanam Samavedosmi. The Samaveda is mentioned as it is full of songs, and the mantras chanted in tune bring a lot of peace and joy. Now, in case you're wondering what about the other Vedas, by mentioning Samaveda, it does not exclude the Rig and the Yajur Vedas. In fact, it implies the inclusion of the Rig and the Yajur Vedas. Another reason for mentioning Samaveda is because the Updesh Vakya of Tattvamasi, which points the student to that highest reality in the seat of contemplation, is from the Chandogya Upanishad, which is from the Samaveda. Amongst the meters, he is the Gayatri meter. The most famous mantra of the Vedas, the Gayatri Mantra, is in this meter. This mantra is a prayer to the sun, the god of the intellect, to make our intellect sharp and single-pointed. The sun is also meditated upon as the light of pure consciousness within. He says, among the gods, he is Vishnu. So we move on to see some of his glorious incarnations. Ram Avatar, Rama Shastra Bhritamaham. As an avatar, Sri Ram has been portrayed as a perfect man in all aspects of life. In this context, the Lord says, of those who are wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Weapons in the right hand. As Sri Krishna, Vrishninam Vasudevosmi. We saw this in chapter 4. He incarnates to protect the good and to destroy evil. In fact, were it not for him, we would not be studying the Gita today. At this point, let's listen to Puja Gurudev on his explanation of the very popular incident in the Puranas of the churning of the ocean and explaining some more Vibhootis.
In the Purana is the great story of the Devas and the Asuras wanted to get Amrita, Amrita, immortality. From where? So they went to Vishnu and asked. Vishnu said, you can get it. But it must be a national program and not a party program. National program means the opposition party also joins and together they do it. If there is a sense of togetherness alone, you will be able to succeed in it. And how am I to get the Amrita? You have to churn the milky ocean of the heavens. But while churning, many attractive, enchanting things would come. But you should never accept anything. Immediately give it as gift to others. You don't, and you go on churning. Now, how can you churn an ocean? That churner is Mandara mountain. Where is the rope to churn? It's not this electrical. That is only when you are churning a cup of milk, churn. Now, where can we get the rope? So Vasuki, a great serpent of the heavens, offered himself, I shall be the rope. And he became the rope. And both of them stood at both sides and started churning. As they churned, many precious, rare things came out. All of them were immediately distributed to the various deities and gods and Indra and others. And they went on doing this, careless of what comes out of it, until Amrita comes out. And Amrita came. This is the story. This has got nothing but mystical story, which has got reference to your own self-unfoldment. In the mind, when it is sattvic thoughts, it's milk, pure. Milk cannot stand any dirt or feather. It's pure white. A little one piece of salt, the whole thing goes fine. A little sour, gone. Thus it is sattvic. In the sattvic mind, you churn the sattvic mind clockwise and anti-clockwise, called a reflection. Think in terms of the scriptural thing, and then you argue against God, which God, where God, what? But then there must be some intelligence. But God, you just, this is called a reflection. By this reflection, as the mind becomes purified more and more, risen from the present state of consciousness, many riddhis and siddhis, many powers will come to you. So then a mind, as it goes on churning, it becomes quieter and quieter and quieter in reflection. And quieter the mind, the greater powers of the mind come to manifest. Faculties which are not at this moment available to us, which is essentially inherent in every mind, comes to express. And when they express, don't identify with it, then you cannot go beyond. Thus powers of seeing the future, or powers of watching and understanding the thoughts of others, this kind of powers come to you, but don't use it. Immediately surrender it to the Lord as an offering, and you proceed yours. Thus various things came. One of them that came was winged horse. Uchai is the name of that horse. And immediately they offered it to Indra. Among the horses, I am the winged horse. Airavatam Gajendranam. Among the Gajendra, among the great elephants, I am the white elephant, which is another thing that came out. And the white elephant, when it came out, immediately given to Indra. Naranam cha Narajvam. Among mankind, I am the sovereign emperor, in the sense that he has got all the might and glory and the power over the others. I am the king.
Right. Now we move on to another destination, where we see some of the glories of the Lord as devotees and sages. He says, amongst the astrologers, he is sage Bhrigu, Maharshi Nam Bhriguraham. Bhrigu Rishi has written the Bhrigu Samhita, which gives the future of all beings. Just imagine what a great astrologer he was. Among the sages, he is Naradji, Devarshina cha Naradaha. Naradji is the first missionary whose only purpose in life was to sing the name of the Lord and turn all towards God. He may appear to instigate quarrels and create confusion, but somehow it always turns out for the best for all involved. He was the guru of great devotees like Prahlad, Valmiki, and Dhruva. Amongst the heroes, he is Arjuna, Pandavanam Dhananjaya. Once asked about his love for Arjuna, Sri Krishna replied, Arjuna is my very heart. Krishnaya Hridayam Partha. He is the glorious sage and visionary Veda Vyasji. Muni Namapyaham Vyasaha. Without who the Hindu Dharma or Indian culture could not have existed in the present time. We all know that he has compiled the 4 Vedas, composed the greatest epic ever, the Mahabharata, and the 18 Puranas, and the Brahma Sutras, and a host of other scriptures. Now, these were all tangible things that we saw. Now we move on to some subtle qualities, some glories experienced and felt by us. Our incredible mind, Indriyanam manaschasmi. The speed of light is considered to be the fastest in the world. But the mind travels 1,000 times faster than light. It collects, collates, and responds to perceptions from the senses. The mind can be our best friend or our worst enemy. It has infinite capabilities. He is the very life in us. Bhutanam asmi chetana. The life force within us, because of which we are alive, is that Lord. And we take our life so much for granted. He is the life giver, the life sustainer, life nourisher. He is life itself. Amongst all knowledges, he is that ultimate knowledge. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. This is the knowledge of one's own true nature, the subject who knows all the objects, Atmagyan. It is said Naradji mastered all the branches of knowledge, which included all forms of science, arts, fine arts, politics, everything. But he was not satisfied. He was still not at peace. So he approached Sanat Kumar, saying that despite so much knowledge, I'm still not at peace. Sanat Kumar taught him self-knowledge, and Narad was free from grief and was liberated. Sujata ji mentioned this yesterday. Shri Krishna himself has praised this knowledge throughout the Gita. We have already seen it in chapters 4, 6, 7, yesterday in 9. He calls it in this chapter his divine glory and the best amongst all knowledges. Aren't we blessed and fortunate to be actually studying this? Shri Krishna says of all the yagnas, Yagnyanam Japa Yagnosmi. I am the Japa Yagna. He regards Japa Yagna as the very essence of all sacrifices. Japa is considered to be the easiest of all sadhanas and is a recommended sadhana by the Shastras for Kali Yuga. Japa Yagna is glorified also because it transcends all the other sadhanas as an independent path in itself. Now we need to be careful. Japa does not mean only repetition of the name of the Lord or the mantra. The silence which precedes and follows the chanting of the name is what is important. That gap between two mantras or names while doing the japa is the silence that I'm referring to here. Abidance in that silence is what leads one to self-realization. In verse 34, the Lord says, among the feminine qualities, he is Kirti, Shri, Vak, Narinam, Smritir, Medha, Dhriti, Kshama. He is fame, prosperity, speech, memory, intelligence, patience, forgiveness. Again, why the use of the word feminine? Simply, the words in the language are feminine in gender. That's all. They're names of great women who were married to great sages. In fact, today, many name their girl children after them. Anyone who has even a few or a little of these virtues, that person can be really, really successful in the world. So if one develops these virtues fully, success cannot be far away. So what is Kirti and Shri? Fame and wealth. Any ordinary fame and wealth that we gather in our lifetime is due to our hard work and aptitude and will fade. But this divine fame comes due to our virtues and our actions. And divine wealth comes from the inner wealth of goodness, which is then used for the benefit of others. Vak, gracious speech. Speech is the most powerful organs of all our organs of action. It can be used to make friends or enemies, create disharmony or invoke peace and tenderness. Divine speech are words spoken with love and concern. They are words of truth. They impart knowledge. They chant the name of the Lord. Smriti, lasting memory. In daily life, we know that memory is very important. But divine memory is remembering the knowledge and the advice received at the right time when needed. If at the time it's required, we are unable to recall it, what's the point then? And remembering and abiding in our true nature. Medha. Medha means to retain the meaning and essence of a subject. Divine Medha is to retain the meaning of life and its essence, which is the all-pervading truth. Dhriti, indefatigable patience. Divine patience is to hold on to one's goal in spite of the challenges that come and to carry on even if the body, mind and senses wish to give up. You need a lot of strength for this. But this quality is required for any success in life. Otherwise, at smallest failure, we'll be giving up. Kshama, forever forgiving. We often say, I can forgive, but I can't forget. But divine forgiveness is not to retaliate even when one can, and to forget the feeling of hurt caused by the actions and words of the other person, whether they were right or wrong. This takes tremendous inner strength to forgive. It is said, Kshama Virasya Bhushanam. It is the ornament of the strong. See, the point of all this is to show us that even these subtle qualities are the Lord Himself. It is not just visible things, but even these subtle feelings and thoughts, these are also the Lord Himself. He goes on to say, of all the alphabets, He is the letter A. Aksharanam akarosmi. In Sanskrit, every letter in its combination is to be pronounced with the sound of A added to it. So it's not Ram, it's Rama. It's not Ravan, it's Ravana. This letter A is also the first alphabet in a lot of languages. In Hindi, we know it is A. In Greek, it is Alpha. In Hebrew, it is Aleph. In Urdu, it is Alif. In German, it is A. This is just to give you some examples that this is from the languages all over the world and not only Indian languages. So what the Lord says is not limited only to the Indian subcontinent. It is universal. So this A is the primary letter, the first letter. And consequently, He is the single syllable Om. Shri Krishna also says He is death, Lord Yama. Yama samayama tamaham. Most people are afraid of death because it is the fear of the unknown. In Vedanta, death is change. A change requires the death of one and the birth of another. So the death of childhood is the birth of youth. The death of youth is the birth of adulthood. The death of one idea is the birth of another idea. So while death is the destroyer, it is also the builder of the new. Death and birth are two sides of the coin. They coexist. That's why Sri Krishna says He is death and the origin of all that comes and is yet to come. Now the Lord is present not only in the positive or the good alone. He says, of all the deceitful games, He is gambling. Dyutam chalata Chalayatamasmi. Let me make this very abundantly clear that this is not to give us the license to go ahead and gamble. But this is to indicate that the Lord pervades each and everything. There is absolutely nothing that he doesn't pervade. There is nothing that is without him. Nothing can exist or happen without him. Gambling is not glorified. Gambling is something that the players lose their power to discriminate. Yudhishthira put everything at stake. He placed his kingdom, his brothers, his wife at stake. Even today, people have the addiction for gambling, drinking, drugs. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that when Raja Parikshit was king, Kali Yuga entered the kingdom. He stopped Kali Yuga from entering, but Kali Yuga said this was his time to enter and he had to enter. Giving in, Raja Parikshit said, okay, but I will give you a few places where you can stay. What were those places? Gold, gambling, animal slaughterhouse, alcohol consumption, all these kind of places. Bhagwan gives this as his Vibhuti. Now we don't have to worship this Vibhuti, but have to understand that the power behind the cheating and the other negative things is also the Vibhuti of Bhagwan. Bhagwan says the power in negative things also belongs to me, even though it is used in a negative way. That power should be directed towards attaining God. See, the sharpness of a knife is its beauty. A dull knife, no one wants to deal with. It can be used for surgery and also for killing someone. The sharpness belongs to the knife, not the action. How we use his glories is up to us. This is a choice we have been given by virtue of our human birth. We have been given the intellect to discriminate and make the right choices, which of course in turn determines our future karmas. So these are not to be misinterpreted or misused. Now, the idea behind this extensive coverage of the Lord's manifestations is to help strengthen the devotion of Arjuna and thereby strengthen our devotion as well. And I'm sure by now, having heard all this, when we see things around us, we can definitely try to see the Lord in them. Moving on now, answering the second request of Arjuna, how can he know the Lord? Bhagwan gives a technique by which we can appreciate his presence in everything. In verse 41, Bhagwan says, understand that whatever exists, whatever has some special glory to it, prosperity in it, some special energy in it, understand that that is from my Tej. They are born from my power. So all that is vast, amazing, marvelous, great, wonderful, awesome, any of these terms that we may use, consider all that as my Vibhuti. He says there is nothing devoid of me. Without me, nothing can work. Bhagwan's expression is amazing. All what we see and perceive through our senses are the names and forms of that Ishvara. If we transcend the names and forms, we will see that in Ishvara, there are no names and forms. This was explained yesterday by Sujata ji. In pure gold, there are no ornaments. But in all ornaments, there is gold. Similarly, there is nothing in the pure transcendental form. But all the variety and forms is possible because of Ishvara. And all the multiplicity is the expression of that one Ishvara. If we are able to develop this vision, we'll be able to see the presence of Ishvara in everything and everywhere. Great masters see the glory of Bhagwan in this world everywhere. They do not see anything other than Ishvara. Gurudev Swami Chinmaya said in the foreword of Wanderings in Himalayas, a book by Swami Tapovan Maharaj, and I quote, "When we used to move from Uttarkashi to Gangotri, Shri Gurudev Tapovan Maharaj often stopped abruptly in the trek, alert and thrilled, tense and silent, now lost in wonder at the snow peaks, now aghast at the thundering laughter of the Ganga rushing down to serve mankind in the plains below. And I had watched him. Even a long-tailed tiny bird fluttering across the bridle path was sufficient to make him stand still, bathed in joy, whispering silently his homage to the Creator." Unquote. Tapovan Maharaj could see the Lord in all of creation. A Tamil saint talked about a life-size elephant made of wood. He said that the elephant is hiding in the wood. When you look at it as an elephant, the wood is not seen. When you look at the wood, there is no elephant. When you look at the wood deeply, there is nothing other than the wood. When you look at it as an elephant, the wood disappears. I can see the elephant with my eyes, but I see the wood with my mind. Bhagwan says, I pervade this whole world. The whole world exists in me. The world depends on me. I don't depend on the existence of this world. The elephant depends on the wood, but the wood does not depend on the elephant. Shri Krishna says, if you recognize my nature, there is no world in me. When you recognize the wood, there is no elephant. This is his yoga. This is his power. This is the answer to Arjuna's third question. What is his yoga? The power, the yoga, to be in many and yet not be affected by them. At the end of a tour, a tourist speaks of his experiences and shows pictures to everyone. And if it has been a spectacular place, this is all that he can speak about. We have all experienced this with someone we know who has come back from a holiday and they go on talking about it, and we are subject to seeing all their pictures. The devotee also cannot stop speaking of his experiences of seeing the Lord everywhere and in everything. And when he meets other devotees, they exchange stories about the Lord and sing his glories. And when such devotees worship with love and devotion, the Lord fulfills him by giving him divine knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mapapayanti te. I give knowledge to those who seek me with love, by which they attain me. The Lord has blessed Shabari and Vali's wife Tara when they turned to him with devotion. We have to recognize Ishvara in and through the world. What do we need to do so that even we can see the Lord around us? Practically speaking, in order to understand the Vibhootis, we begin with one object and then slowly expand our vision. We try to see the presence of Ishvara in one river, the Ganga, for example, and then expand our vision to all rivers. We need to see the presence of Ishvara in one mountain and then expand it to all the mountains. When the Lord says, I am the people tree, I should try to see the Lord as manifested in that particular tree. Once I'm able to do this, I can expand my vision to seeing the Lord in all trees. Again, I'm free to pick a Vibhuti that my mind is able to relate to. Vibhutis serve as a support for us in the seat of contemplation. So, to know Ishvara, we have to take the support of this world and its varied forms. Just as we cannot see electricity but we appreciate it through its many expressions, what good is a fancy lamp without electricity? Similarly, we have to meditate on Ishvara to realize he alone is behind the world, using the variety in the world. There was a guru, he had 2 disciples. Both the disciples used to massage the guru's feet. One used to massage the right foot and the other the left foot. Once a fly settled on one foot. The disciple who was massaging the other foot patted the foot to shoo away the fly. Now the disciple whose foot was the foot who he was massaging did not see the fly and said that this foot belongs to me. I am the sevak of this foot. Why are you hitting it? And he hit the other foot. The first disciple again patted little harder on the foot on the side of that disciple. In this way, each of them started hitting hard on the foot that was being massaged by the other. Naturally, this woke the guru up. He said, what is going on? So one disciple said, he started hitting my foot, so I hit his foot. The guru said, you fools, both the feet belong to me. When we understand that both the feet belong to the same guru, we will treat both the feet with equal reverence. Similarly, when I come to know that this whole world is pervaded by Ishvara, I will have reverence for everyone and everything. I will have reverence for them and their actions. They are all serving the same Ishvara. The divine tour guide concludes by telling Arjuna that there is no end to his glories. And these were just a few examples that he has given. Everything extraordinary that we see comes from him and exists because of him. In verse 41, the Lord concludes by saying, whatever is glorious in the world, know it to be my manifestation. And this manifestation is only one minute part of my glory. Just think. His innumerable manifestations, his Vibhootis, are just one small, tiny part of his infinite, unmanifest nature, yoga. Then Bhagavan says, what more is there to speak? Anyone who gains this divine vision and sees the world will surely be filled with awe and deep reverence and love for God. Let's watch Pujya Gurudev concluding this chapter.
Expand yourself, your full state of glory. Realize your oneness with the entire universe. With this, the 10th chapter is over. See the logic of it? When the Lord said that I am all these Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he tried to prove that in the 7th, 8th and the 9th chapters that I am the Lord of the entire universe of names and forms. I am the very substrate and the very material with which it is all made. Arjuna, the intellectual, with his intellect he cannot understand the oneness of it. He can understand only the plurality. That is the nature of the human intellect. Therefore he had a doubt. Hey, if you say that you are in everything, can you show me yourself in the things that are around? Analytically, in the 10th chapter, the Lord pointed out that I am this glory. Wherever there is a glory, I am that. Of the rivers, I am the Ganges. Of the mountains, I am Meru mountain. I am the most glorious in everything. He showed it, the point. After some time, when he got tired of himself, he said, hey Arjuna, if you go on talking, you will never be benefited because it will never end. How can it? In a pottery shop, I go there, and when that artist was standing there, I asked him, that yellow pot is made up of clay. Oh, I see. And the blue one? Clay. That small one, clay. That tall one, clay. After some time, don't you think that that artist will be tired? Sir, please understand, all these in this room are all nothing but clay in different forms. Don't you think? All this is only standing in a part of the total possibility of clay in the world. It's not that all the clay is finished because all pots are made. No. In the same way, he points out analytically where exactly am I shining out in the names and forms that I am seeing at this moment. So many years already generalized and said that the splendor, wherever you see in the splendid, this is me. He pointed out.
Right. Now, when Arjun heard this, he requested Bhagwan to show him his form in which the entire world is held together. This is the key for the next chapter tomorrow, Vishwarupa Darshan. So, yesterday we saw in the ninth chapter, Bhagwan says, I pervade this entire world in my unmanifest form. Outwardly you see the form, but I am hidden there. Then he says, the world exists in me. Here today we saw Bhagwan saying, in the many I am one. And he proved it to us. He gave us examples. In the next chapter, he will show the many are present in one. Hari Om.
Any questions? Please raise your hand. Yeah.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Ankita?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have something to say, and I just want to first make it clear that I am not saying this to target any person or any organization or even doubt this knowledge. But I have this thing in my mind, and I want to say it aloud and seek your opinion on this. And it's a big one, so please bear with me. I'll take 2 minutes. So we discussed about God being in everything and everyone being divine. But I want to ask who really holds this belief today. I mean, barring our acharyas and gurus, maybe, I have not come across a person in my lifetime at least who really sees divine in everyone and everything. And I have not come across a person who has in turn probably met any such person. So I'm just wondering where these people exist. Most people are quick to judge, show others down, hold a grudge, make others' life difficult. Even those who do charity or selfless service are quick to think that others are selfish or dumb for not walking this path. Then where are these people who have actually read Gita and actually practicing it? With all the people that they come across in their life, they think that every person is divine. Where are they hiding, and why are they not in knowledge of common people? Why are they not making news in common media? Why are they not a talking point among the masses like any other negative news that gets flourished so quickly today? Or is it too impractical to be lived on a day to day basis? Because if such people existed, then future generations would have an opportunity to imbibe these traits firsthand, like any other life skill, instead of relying on learning it in a classroom someday in their lives. I mean, no doubt our ancient ancestors were geniuses to write such books and have this knowledge like Gita, but today it looks more like a history book where we had maybe one Gandhi fighting against billions for justice. But still, I don't know if there are any modern day examples, as I said, except for maybe our gurus and acharyas, to be discussed and get inspired by over a dinner conversation. And why the world of different religions doesn't have any such modern day example from India beyond being contained in theory. Then how can we be sure this knowledge is relevant and actually has potential to change future for the generations and for for India itself.
Okay. I see exactly where you're coming from. And I used to think like this before I started walking this path, before I started studying the scriptures, before I joined Chinmaya Mission. But today, once you start walking the path, believe me, I have seen a number of people who think very positively, even of people who have harmed them, who think very positively of, there may be, like we are saying today's talk, to see the God in the tree, in the river, in the mountain. Maybe they don't do that, but they appreciate beauty as His. Like I said, I never saw this earlier myself. I used to think like that. Each one for himself. If you can't do it for yourself, then you can't progress in life. And it has to be like that. And what is this? This is all very idealistic thinking. But believe me, once you start walking, you automatically attract such like-minded people to yourself. You will find there are many, and I'm not talking about the Swamis and the Acharyas and the sages and the sants and the Mahatmas. Normal day-to-day people. Today, I can very happily and proudly say that most of the people that I am in touch with on a regular basis, I'm not talking social gatherings here and there, I'm talking people who are in my life on a regular basis, are all such like-minded people. And that gives me tremendous strength to stay on the path and to not swerve. When I go off, these are the people that bring me back. These are the, even if I go into the acharyas that you're referring to, even they help us stay on the path. Let me say this today, and I'm saying it today on an open platform, and I'm sure I'm saying it for a number of our Sevikas who have taken this Gita Relay Yagna, and we have reached up to chapter 10 today. All of us doubted whether we could do it. We were not sure of doing it. Some of us may not have wanted to do it. But it was our Swami Swatmanand who said, no, you can do it, and it will be done. He pushed us out of our comfort zone. Yes, we can do it. It's not something idealistic. We all had the doubt, how can we speak this kind of knowledge to speak on an open platform where it's available to any and everyone today? It's not limited to a bunch of people of Chinmaya Mission that we know. You have been attending, I have seen your name, you have been attending a number of these talks. Why are you listening to it again and again? You are attracted to these talks. If you were not interested, you won't have listened to it after the first one, whichever the first one may have been. Start walking. You will find your vision changing. You will attract similar people. What is going on in other people's minds, what is their thinking, does not bother me. What matters is what I am thinking. And if it is in line of being correct in terms of morally, in terms of my duty, in terms of the Shastras, in terms of what I have been taught by my gurus and teachers, if I'm on the right path, what anyone else doesn't bother me. So my suggestion to you would be, if you're interested, start. I'm telling you, you will benefit. You won't realize it till you start. Please do start.
Okay, thank you. I hope I do find people like these in my life.
You will start. You will find people once you start.
Yeah,
till
I
you
hope
don't
so.
start, you won't find them.
All right, thank you.
Manisha?
Hari Om Anjali ji.
Hari Om Manisha.
Thank you for a very lucid and a very beautiful session on the glory of Lord. So two things. I just wanted to tell all the listeners that when we say that is everybody seeing God in everything, So we may not all be living all the teachings of Gita, but what we need to see is that we all are living some part of Gita.
Absolutely.
Once you start looking that in every person around you, your mother, your father, your children, everybody is living some part of Gita in their life. And that is the smallest part of Lord Krishna residing in you.
Absolutely.
Is the way one should look at.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when these floods came in Mumbai, I read this story of a young boy of 22-year-old, just because there was a gushing water coming, he saved 12 people and he died. So he was the living embodiment of Lord Krishna then.
Absolutely.
The soldiers who gave away their lives in Ladakh, they are the manifestation of the Lord. They don't know any of us individually, but they gave away their lives for our safety. Similarly, every person who's doing their profession diligently are making this whole ecosystem work for us. And I believe that is the part of Lord which is there in them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I would tell everybody to just look at the neighbor who gives you a warm cold glass of water when you come from outside, all sweaty, and your friend looks at you and says, have a glass of water first, take a breath. That's Lord's greatness inside that person, that willingness
True.
to.
True.
Yeah. So we should all aspire not to become, if the day we will fully imbibe Gita would be a different day, but we are all imbibing Lord's
Absolutely.
teachings. Yeah. First
Thank
thing.
you.
Thank
Oh, sorry.
you.
Go ahead.
No, but my question actually arises from this only, that when Gurudev ended his the talk that you showed us, he said
Yes.
that whatever is all the splendor in this world and whatever is splendid is me.
Yes.
Is the Lord himself, right?
Yes.
So should we also take it that when we are contemplating and we are reflecting on ourselves, and when we see those attributes and aspects in our personality, in our individual, the habits and things which are not good, which are not helping us grow, or which are not uplifting, should we also try to shed them, thinking, because whatever that is good is the Lord himself, right? So if the kindness in us, the happiness in us, the love in us, if that is all God, so the depression, the anger, the sadness, should we also look at it as if that we should keep striving to shed all of these and enhance the amount of the uplifting qualities of ourself, whatever that be for that particular individual based on his understanding? Should we look at it like that?
If you I think I mentioned it also, that the power behind these negative qualities or these negative attributes are all the Lord himself. But we need to channelize, instead of energy going towards that, to whatever the negative energy and quality may be, whether I'm getting angry or whatever it is, I need to channelize that same energy into something more positive.
Right.
So if I find I'm getting pulled down, I need to watch something more uplifting. I'm feeling depressed. Can I watch something very uplifting? Can I talk to someone who will uplift me, who will pull me out? That's why, going back to what Ankita says, when you have like-minded people around you,
Yeah.
it is a really solid support system.
True.
Today, I can say very firmly that even if I choose to, well, I won't choose, but even if I do by mistake tend to go off the path, I'm confident.
Yes.
I have 4 people who will pull me back, 5 people who will pull me back.
True.
Not that I should be complacent and say, do what you own now. Those people are there now, do what you own. No. I need to be alert. I need to be vigilant. But that support system is very important. Even when you're feeling low, sometimes the mind just wanders and it goes into a very different direction.
Yeah.
It helps. Either you read uplifting books or you watch uplifting videos. Everything is available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Anjali, please.
Hari Om, Arjuna.
Anjali, actually, when you talk of Lord's splendor, it gives us lots and lots of reverence. But when you say, like, take an example that amongst the mountains, he is the Himalaya, but there is a Aravali also, there is a Deccan Plateau also, and he is all pervading. And in that context, I feel that among all sadhak, I'm very average. So then there is, like, I'll always be in reverence and I'll never reach a self knowledge. It's also very daunting when I hear all this.
Okay, join the gang. Okay, join the gang. One feels we are not qualified, we are not capable, we'll never make it. That's up to me again. How much effort I put in, how much self effort, how much purusharth I put in. Like in one of the previous talks, I don't know whether, I think it was in chapter 8 or I'm not sure, it was repeated in chapter 9, where they said, मुझे भगवान ही चाहिए और भगवान भी चाहिए. There's that difference. If I want bhi chahiye, I will remain average. Given. It's a guarantee. If I want Bhagwan hi chahiye, you take that one step towards him. You see how many steps he takes towards you. He just comes and carries you. He just takes over. Then where you're average and below par, like I gave this example, I personally was totally unqualified. I thought I was unqualified. I thought I was incompetent. There is no way I can talk on the Bhagavad Gita, my God, to so many people. You leave it to him. You do your best. You have to do your best. You can't say, हाँ भगवान पे छोड़ दिया. नहीं. There is effort required. You do your best and then leave it to him. He will take you through. Then today, if Swamiji tells me you have to give a talk on the Bhagavad Gita, I will not feel so incompetent. I will not tremble. I will not be scared. I might be scared. I might not hesitate the way I hesitated with this. So one has to put in effort and then slowly one. Even today, Archana ji, when the few of us that are talking on the Bhagavad Gita, we never started off being talk. Go slowly, start, it will happen. But start and self-effort, very, very important. It cannot happen on its own. अपने आप हो जाएगा. मैं पूजा कर रही हूँ ना, अपने आप हो जाएगा. कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Effort is required. And you'll make it, guaranteed.
Okay.
Swati ji, I think
no more questions. Yeah. Please. Thank you, Anjali ji. It was an enlightening talk. It was really a wonderful session. Our Yajman for the day is Srimati Sumitra Ben Patel. The Aarti Yajman is Kumudaji Dalal. Thank you for supporting us. May Gurudev's blessings be upon you always. I thank the audience for joining in today. See you all tomorrow at the same time for chapter 11, Vishwaroop Darshan Yog by Sevika Shrutiji Somani. We will now have the Bhagavad Gita Aarti.
Om Jai Bhagavad Gita, Maya Jai Bhagavad Gita, Hariya Kamala Viharini, Sundara Sunite, Om Jai Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Sumarma Prakashini, Kama Sakti Hara, Tattva Jnana Vikas ममता त्याग सिखावनी हरि मुख की बानी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी ओम जय भगवती ते दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा की जय हरि पद प्रेम दान कर अपनो कर लीजय ओम जय भगवती ते ओम जय भगवती ते मैया जय भगवती हरि कमल विहारिणी सुंदर सुपुनीते ओम जय भगवती ओम जय भगवती बोलिए गीता मैया की जय
ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम. Thank you everyone. See you all tomorrow.